The video opens by explaining how David suddenly found himself under intense online scrutiny after internet researchers uncovered information about his father's professional background. According to publicly available records circulating online, David's father worked in litigation support for a major law firm. At first, this detail didn't seem alarming until viewers began connecting the firm to a controversial and widely discussed estate that has been the subject of countless documentaries, lawsuits, and public outrage. The narrator explains that this discovery didn't come from police filings or court documents tied to David himself, but rather from fans and online investigators who started digging once his name became associated with a separate, ongoing situation. The video makes it clear that having a family member in the legal field isn't wrongdoing on its own, but what unsettled people was the historical association of the firm with extremely high-profile legal matters involving serious allegations. As this information spread, social media quickly began drawing connections, raising questions that pushed David into conversations he had never been part of before. And that's when curiosity started turning into suspicion. The narrator then breaks down why this specific law firm has been controversial for years. According to survivor advocates and legal commentary shared publicly, the firm's involvement in certain civil cases sparked outrage among victims who felt pressured during legal proceedings. Some lawyers representing survivors have claimed that aggressive legal strategies were used to limit public trials and redirect cases into private settlements. The video emphasizes that these claims remain disputed and that opinions on the firm's actions vary widely depending on who you ask. Still, the narrator explains that once viewers learned about these past criticisms, they began questioning whether proximity to such legal environments could have shaped the people around them. Importantly, the video stresses that there is no proof David participated in or had knowledge of any of this. However, online speculation doesn't wait for confirmation, and the comments quickly shifted from the firm itself to how close David may have been to these circles growing up. And that speculation opened the door to even more disturbing theories. Next, the video moves into unverified claims shared by anonymous sources online. According to these rumors, some investigators allegedly wondered whether David may have been present around high-level legal meetings or elite social environments connected to his father's work during his childhood. The narrator is careful to state that there is no evidence confirming what kind of exposure, if any, David actually had. Some speculate it could have been as innocent as sitting in waiting rooms, while others jump to far darker conclusions without proof. The video doesn't endorse these theories, but explains why even the idea of proximity caused alarm among viewers already unsettled by everything else. The narrator points out that online communities often treat unanswered questions as confirmations, especially when emotions are already high. And just as these rumors gained traction, a completely separate situation reignited attention and pushed the conversation into a much darker place. At this point, the narrator explains how reports surrounding Celeste suddenly pulled David back into the spotlight. According to online sources and commentary channels, authorities were allegedly revisiting details connected to her case, prompting renewed public interest. The video carefully states that these are ongoing claims and discussions, not final conclusions. As details circulated, some sources suggested investigators were looking into whether there may have been additional individuals affected, though nothing had been formally confirmed. The narrator describes how this caused speculation to spiral rapidly, with social media users connecting unrelated dots and building theories in real time. What intensified the situation was the idea that information may have surfaced earlier but didn't immediately become public knowledge. Whether true or not, the belief that details were withheld fueled distrust and suspicion. And as attention grew, investigators and viewers alike began focusing less on David alone and more on the people closest to him. The video then shifts focus to David's management and label. explaining how individuals in his professional circle began appearing in reports and online discussions. According to coverage referenced in the video, one key figure was called to testify before a grand jury, raising eyebrows across the internet. The narrator explains that during questioning, inconsistencies allegedly emerged regarding why certain actions weren't taken when concerns were raised. Statements attributed to this individual suggested prioritizing work obligations over involvement in a situation they claimed wasn't their responsibility. While no guilt is established, the narrator points out how silence and delayed responses often raise more questions than answers. The video stresses that being questioned does not equal wrongdoing, but the lack of clear explanations added fuel to an already intense fire. Then, just when it seemed the situation couldn't get more complicated, an email entered the conversation and changed everything.
In the final section, the narrator details reports of an email allegedly sent by someone connected to Celeste's family, warning individuals in David's circle about her status at the time. According to online claims, the message included a missing persons report and urged immediate action. Shortly after, events unfolded in a way that left many viewers unsettled, especially as timelines began overlapping. The video explains that some people named in the reports denied receiving the email altogether, while others were never publicly addressed. As rumors spread, attention turned to alleged physical items found in David's residence, which investigators reportedly questioned. Explanations were offered, but critics online challenged their credibility. Then, suddenly, official silence followed, with court orders limiting what could be shared publicly. The narrator closes by emphasizing that none of this represents final truth, only a developing story surrounded by power, secrecy, and unanswered questions. And, as the video makes clear, the deeper people look, the more complicated the picture becomes.